Hundreds took to the streets on both sides of the Big Island on Saturday to protest GMOs, genetically modified organisms. These crowds say they don't want GMOs to be part of Hawaii's agricultural future.
So all islands are standing up, all islands are saying something, and I hope the elected officials are beginning to listen. There's something wrong going on in our farmlands. And because we got chemical companies farming our lands and they're having an impact on people, and nobody's listening and caring about what those negative impacts are. They're negative impacts. Not only are they poisoning our food, they're poisoning our lands and our drinking water.
Hawaii Island was the third of 5 islands across the state to host a march in March to evict Monsanto.
Well, we started in Haleiwa. We had 600 people. We went to Kauai. We had 2,000 people. We came to Hilo. We had, close to 1,000 people over there. Now we're in Kona.
Monsanto is an American multinational agricultural biotech corporation headquartered in Missouri. It is a leading producer of genetically engineered seed and of Roundup, a well-known herbicide. There was a huge crowd in Hilo, from farmers to state senators. These people were united in their distrust of genetically modified food producers.
We're all here, and we're all children of God.
The group met at the King Kamehameha statue and began with Hawaiian chanting. Then the hordes, several hundred strong, hit the street. Many spilled onto the highway and invaded the downtown area. Police tried to maintain some order as best they could, considering the numbers involved. In a spectacular scene, everyone invaded the federal building, occupying the entire structure, demanding an end to GMOs. Then it was off to the bandstand for speeches.
He wants a hearing, and he's trying to get all the senators to have a hearing. Your Senator Josh Green wants a hearing.
And in Kona, later that same day, a mob marched down Ali'i Drive, chanting and shouting against GMOs. Many of the participants sounded angry over Monsanto's economic and legal influence.
Oh, that's a big camera.
I haven't done a march or a public thing since the Washington Peace rallies in 1969. It's still the same thing of war and corporate greed and power, and it's gone on, and it's deepened now. They've taken over our political system. Eisenhower talked about the military-industrial complex. We now have the media in there, the pharmaceuticals. They've even incorporated church and religion. And it's all for greed and profit, and not any care for humankind and what they're doing.
Wake up so we can have the end of this corporate immorality. It's time for us to have healthy food, not be sick, not be inflamed. It's time for us, we have the right to know what we're eating. We have the right to our seed.
Representing from Big Island, Kona, this is Fire Redbeard, the original farmer man, representing all natural subsistent farmers. We don't deal with any chemical, artificial, all kind of GMO. We're getting rid of all that, letting people know that this food makes you weaker, causes sterility within the generations for people that eat this food long term, as well as all kind of different things in the gut, cilia. So we're educating the people, letting them know, and it goes farther than just the GMO thing. It goes into just the alkaline diet and the natural human diet that we're wanting people to achieve their highest genetic potential through eating the best foods for them. So I'm here representing the farmers, representing the reggae community, and I just want to do this for the younger generation right now. 2013, Lava Ground sound system. Fire burn GMO. Fire burn Monsanto. We're coming for you, and we know you.
Say in a very loud voice, listen to us. We want a labeling bill at the legislature this year. We want a labeling bill. Ross Baker, Senate committee, says no hearings. Nishihara, Senator Nishihara, Agriculture Committee, don't want any hearings. And yet people statewide are saying we want labeling. So I don't know what's going on at the legislature, but we'll keep on saying it over and over and over and over.
Organic gelato.
Harry, come get one.
With love.
Thanks, man. We're going to win this fight. Yeah, we will. Come in.
The series of marches, first held in Haleiwa on Oahu, encouraged Hawaii residents to support and celebrate food sovereignty and investigate land stewardship practices by landowners, such as Kamehameha Schools, who is leasing more than 1,000 acres of land to Monsanto. Rally organizers say Hawaii is the global research lab of the world for GMO testing, with more than 5,000 open field experiments statewide.
They won't listen. Those guys are lobbying. They're paying for their campaign contributions. We're at a loss. They won't listen to us. So the people got to get together and get numbers and say with a very loud voice, we want labeling.
State Senator Russell Ruderman, who is also owner of the Island Naturals market chain, joined in the event.
I started learning about GMOs quite a few years ago, and I realized, some of the problems with them right away, but as I've learned more about it, it's actually much, much worse than I ever thought. It's a problem locally, it's a problem for our food supply, for our health. It's a problem regarding corporate control of our world, really. I read a book, I finally got around to reading Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, which was written in 1960 and was thought of as the birth of the environmental movement. In 1960, Rachel Carson was railing against Monsanto as one of the evil companies back then. Since then, they've brought us DDT, Agent Orange, PCBs, and now they've got, now they have the big success with Roundup, glyphosate. They've got a worldwide reputation as the safest safest herbicide, which we're starting to find out now is not true, but they had a really good run. And where Monsanto and other companies came from, they were produced chemicals during World War II, and when the war was done, they needed to find some reason to keep producing chemicals, and they turned to the agriculture industry. And they found a way to make chemicals essential to big farms. And I hope that everyone knows that about 15 years ago, or I may be wrong on the date, the patent on Roundup ran out. And Monsanto came up with a reason why everybody would still have to buy their product, and that's where we got genetically modified organisms. I like to call genetically mutilated organisms because that's what really happened to their poor genetics.
Hawaii Island has taken a stand against GMOs before.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, they petitioned the county to start planting GMO coffee outdoors. Coffee that would ripen all at the same time. Coffee that comes pre-caffeinated. GMO coffee on the Big Island of Hawaii, where one of the most worldwide known specialty coffees are grown. There's no sanctity. They don't care. They don't care anything except for their seeds. And if they could have destroyed the Kona coffee, that would have been a win for them. Then they would have been able to say, oh, it's already out, there's nothing we can do. That's what they do over and over, country by country by country. Monsanto, Syngenta, Pioneer, all of them have been taking out small farmers worldwide, piece by piece by piece, and the only thing left is going to be their seed. People don't understand that as farmers, saving seed is what created food on this planet. And now they're telling farmers they're not allowed to save seed anymore. You have to buy our seed year after year after year. You have to apply our chemicals to our seeds year after year after year. This is toxic farming. This is their plan. If they own the food, there's nothing left. There is nothing left. And they did. They tried to get GMO coffee planted outdoors on this island. In fact, we're the first county in the United States to have outlawed outdoor planting of specific GMO commodities. We did that here on the Big Island, but they fought us. They were here fighting us.
In 2008, the Hawaii County Council passed Bill 361, making it illegal to grow genetically engineered taro and coffee in Hawaii County. Organic farmers and Hawaiian cultural practitioners rejoiced. But there are those who say genetically modified crops are the key to the future. Some say GMO papaya saved the papaya industry when it was being devastated by a ring spot virus. Genetically engineered sunup and rainbow cultivars were developed and passed regulatory testing by the U.S. government. They were released to farmers in 1998. Rainbow papaya recently passed Japanese regulatory testing in 2011 and is currently being exported to Japan. The most recent protest over GMOs on Hawaii Island came over genetically engineered corn, which is being fed to dairy cows along the Hamakua coast. It's a never-ending battle, say these protesters.
I'd also just just like to make a comment on GMOs on Big Island as far as corn grows, but just to, if you don't know, we have Big Island Dairy growing 700 acres of GMO corn to feed their dairy cows out in O'Okala and Pepikale. So you just need to know that. Big Island Dairy owner is Steve Whitesides, who lives in Idaho. And so that is contaminating our local milk right now. So Mountain Apple brand, all the milk goes to the same processing. And so our local milk is now contaminated with GMOs because the dairy cows are fed that kind of corn. Not to mention the pesticides in growing that kind of crop and the runoff going down towards O'Okala side and everything.
Papayas too.
Yeah, and papayas too. But the corn is just our newest crop on Big Island, and if we're not awake, there's going to be a lot of sneaking into our island. So we all need to be alert and looking at things from different angles.
Unless people start showing up to things like this, they're going to have their way. They're going to have their way, and they're planting now. They're planting thousands and thousands of acres. Let me give you another example. The GMO industry here, biotech industry, growing corn seed for the rest of the planet, brought in $250 million from Monsanto and Syngenta, and they paid no excise tax here in the state of Hawaii for that $250 million. I, as a small farmer, showing up at farmers markets, have to pay 4%. How come I have to pay taxes on my kale and my organically grown food, and they get to spread seed around the world with no excise tax to the people of the state of Hawaii? It's criminal, and they're getting away with it because they paid, I believe it's close to $100,000 went into the state legislature from the biotech industry last year. They are buying the government, folks. It's time to show up to things like this.
Meanwhile, Big Island Video News received the following statement from Alicia Malawafiti, the executive director of Hawaii Crop Improvement Association. She says, quote, organizers of these anti-GMO and evict Monsanto marches are creating a hostile environment in our communities by using scare tactics and spreading misinformation. It is not Pono to rally support for an agenda by repeating myths and exaggerations to our Hawaii communities. It is also unfortunate that misleading and false claims made by these activist groups are often repeated by mainstream media without verification of their accuracy. End quote. She goes on to list some of those facts. She says, quote, to date, people have consumed more than 3 trillion servings of foods produced using biotechnology without one documented case of illness resulting from those foods, end quote. She also says, quote, seed farmers keep agricultural lands in agricultural use, with plenty of land available for other farmers. Seed farmers own or lease approximately 5% of the available prime agricultural land in Hawaii. And, quote, GMOs are some of the most extensively tested and federally regulated of all crops, so we actually know more about their safety than many other types of crops, including conventional and organic, end quote.